Hey you guys, it's MJ. How are you? Today I just want to go live and talk to you about the recent new moon energies, and what I'm gathering intuitively is just a massive collective turning point. So the depth of healing and the acceleration of the mass awakening and the global transformation, it's like we've hit a tipping point. And so those of us on the path for a while now will begin to see our new paradigm manifestations into the physical reality. And there's going to be another mass awakening. So there is a sense of people having breakdowns, people leaving corporate jobs, people leaving jobs where there's just too much limitation and red tape and kind of like bureaucracy, which limits the expansion. So it's like the next wave of minds are awakening to the broader perspective and ultimately to the unified field perspective. I definitely had a huge release just yesterday, and it was very much regarding karma and really deep wounds of pain and suffering and betrayal and like all this stew of fog. And I was so blessed because I just finished a weekend retreat, and I had my colleague and kind of like almost like a family member who just like sort of like my sisters, and they basically walked in on me when I was like in the spin of like seeking and grasping the validation or the healing externally from another human, and really, really, really having to let go of that because, well, they held space for me basically, and they allowed me to release a pretty painful story that I've been carrying along with me for a really long time. I did share on my tribe page on the Fearless Life tribe, just about karma and how this. So, in regards to this new moon and the energies of this new moon, it really is it's like a culmination completion. So the sense that I've been getting, actually building momentum from the last few years and even since 2012, it's that for many of us, like every lifetime has been building to this culmination and this completion cycle of traversing the darkness and traversing separation. What does it feel like as a divine spark of source to disconnect from creator? Well, when we disconnect from source or creator, we disconnect from our own power. And it's reconnecting that is ultimately healing us. And simply the depth to which we're able, it's every one of us is unique in what we're able to hold, and how deep we can go. The deeper we can go on the emotional level, the more expanded our lives become. And I'm really getting this evolution of what and how we understand the law of attraction, and why a lot of it can be kind of distracting if we're on an earnest spiritual or healing journey, because the teachings of the law of attraction can get distorted in a false economy where we're unconsciously still seeking external. We're still seeking money or seeking a partner or seeking something outside of ourselves. So bearing that in mind, that if you're being triggered by people like telling you how to manifest or telling you how to manifest their perfect partner in 25 days, like just be mindful, be mindful of how you're potentially being manipulated by other people's tactics to get something from you. I'm finding it with every shift and ultimately with every emotional storm. I'm finding a deeper sense of humility and also a deeper sense of self-compassion, because I'm aware that all of us, the large majority, or I don't know, I guess me and like you guys perhaps, and people in who are maybe one day or once in my world, it's like there's so much intensity and emotions. There's so much uprising in the collective energy field, and that uprising is intense because we've been totally disconnected for millennia, you know? So, and the disconnection, although there's suffering there, there's numbness too. So we can stay in quote unquote comfortable patterns, but in essence, those comfortable patterns kind of destroy our vitality, right? They destroy our common humanity because, in essence, when we're staying in our comfort, we're living in fear of change. And yet, what we understand in a vibrational reality is that change is the only constant. We're in perpetual motion, y'all, like vibration and wave. It there is a fluid exchange happening all the time with us, with our environments, with other beings, and those exchanges are divine, but not every exchange is meant to trigger happy, joyful emotions. Some of our exchanges are meant to, in essence, rip us open. And it's that ripping ourselves open which provides the deepest healing. And yeah, self forgiveness, self compassion. Because really, with every upheaval, I'm, aware of how deep and how tricky and how it's really easy to say stuff to people. But then when it comes to doing it in our own lives, it requires a great amount of self love and self compassion because we're human and there's chaos and there's pain in the human collective energy field, and there's still a broad collective story that we're wrong and bad for feeling pain. And ultimately, the more you dissolve your own ego and the more you kind of live from your heart, the more painful it is to engage with people who are not healing or who are in their ego or who are still in the chase of the world, like of the systematized world, because that once you and yourself has become more unified and dissolved more of that seeking energy, it's much more apparent. And ultimately, like on an energetic level, it's kind of hurty, like it's edgy. And here's the truth, guys, like when that is an active vibration, so when it's, and like most people are just, it's fully out in the open. It's like, yeah, go get it, make it happen, like hit that sale or whatever. But what's underneath that, like within the human collective, what's underneath the like divide, conquer, and seeking externally is a very deep wound, a core wound of unworthiness born of separation. So we've really traversed quite a monumental portal. And ultimately, the best way for us to carry on and to, keep going is just to have compassion for ourselves and know that that self-compassion is in truth compassion for all beings. And it is from a place of honoring our unity, honoring how we've reflected back to one another very deep teachings, but to let people go, to let and honor every individual's free will in an infinite and eternal universe. And then that honors my own free will to be the sovereign being that I choose. And I suppose what I want to say is that without even like being a conscious thing for me, I'm having to respect the fact that like when people come into my energy field, there's change, there's going to be transformation. And when people have had enough, they exit somehow, however it happens. When people don't want to keep expanding, they leave. And I've after 35 years on this planet, I can recognize that I'm on just this continual transformational journey and here to awaken, here to unify with self. And I don't know exactly how the manifestation of that divine connection is going to look, but it feels beautiful. And part of like the beauty of the heart space is just the fact that like we're here to create a new world for everybody, you know? So really, 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 every one of us is held in like a divine container, and everyone is on their divine path. And our ability to just honor the heart is just like the most beautiful thing. And I want to just, I think I might have shared this with you guys, or maybe it was just flowing over the weekend. I had a retreat this weekend which went really well, and I'm so blessed to have had people share with me and me them. But I had a encounter, a chat. I had a call with another spiritual teacher, and she said, yeah, the mind disconnected from its host will destroy its host. So you can see how humanity, in essence, destroys self through being disconnected from the heart. We're fighting each other, and we're dropping bombs on each other, and we're raping the earth of her resources, and we're treating each other like slaves, and treating each other like, I don't know, like however you guys are treating one another. And recognize that that divisive behavior is the divide and conquer, which divide means you disconnect from self, which is really the experience of connecting to the heart, which means that you really do open your field to feel what other people feel, because we are all one. And really, in my experience, it's only through opening my heart and really letting myself feel like all the craziness and the divinity and the beauty and the shit and the shades and the betrayal, and like just honoring like the fullness of our experience here, and the fact that it's okay to feel, and it's okay to have pain, and it's okay to long for people, it's okay to be confused, it's okay to not know what's happening, because we're traversing a really weird time for humanity. We're traversing a transformational journey, which means that when we look back, nothing is going to be the same. Nothing will ever be the same. And yet, all of our creations are held in the divine container. Some people call that like the Earth Akashic Records, which is just like the memory bank of the Earth. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening. I hope that was useful to you. I appreciate when you guys subscribe. I do try to post most days. I'm building up to posting me in an emotional storm, which is like totally cringe. I'm nervous about that. Oh, Hidden Observer and Earth to Maya. Like, honestly, I could cry right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. I really appreciate it. Have a beauty day. I'm sending you so much love and like a massive hug, because I feel like some of the emotions have been pretty intense, and you're not alone at all. I find the humility is pretty dynamic. It's like I can see all of my own shades and all of my own like distortions, and where I've bought into my own lies about who I am versus like my heart and like the truth. And yeah, just letting go of a lot of pain and old pain and like hidden pain and basically just allowing it to make itself known. Like, yeah, literally, I was writing like an essay, just reeling and spinning last night, and until my divine goddesses came in and just held me and said, it's okay for you to let go. We got snow. We got snow in Lee. It's very beautiful. So wishing you guys well and wishing you just peace and love and everything in between. And I hope I get to meet you one day. I hope that you can come visit me here in England one day and, you know, we could just chill and chat about the journey of life and how fun it is and also how fucking crazy it is. Letting go isn't always easy. Hidden Observer is not. And I love how easy it is to talk about it. You know, it's really easy for us to be like, just let it go. Just let it go. Actually, I'm pretty sure in the Fearless Life Guide, that's pretty much like what I initially talk about when in the section about letting go is like how easily people tell one another like, just let it go, and you're like, okay, what the fuck am I letting go of? And I gotta say, you guys, like, for me, I think, one, it's just have an intention, okay? I don't really know, like, so this would be, like, my process. Like, I really have no idea what's going on with that person or over here or da-da-da-da. Trying to figure out is fucking with my head. My heart is in agony, so there's an energy here that I have to let go of. So my practice is just do my best to detach from the thoughts, detach from, it's tricky. It's not like I'm always doing it. Like last night I was spinning out, like literally just crying and messaging and crying and messaging. And then the goddesses came in and I had a huge healing and a huge vision. And here's where I really advise feeling your emotions is that there is wisdom. There is wisdom in our emotions, and if we don't let ourselves feel, then ultimately we won't be able to let go, because it's the emotional body which releases. It's the emotional body which allows us to transform energy density on the cellular level. So letting go is an emotional process, or an energetic, at least energetic process, where the energy of that density shifts out of our body. Sometimes we sigh, sometimes we have a deep breath. Sometimes we might burp or cough or like fart. That's how it is, right? But letting go is literal, or like, you know, let go. Yes, like the heart is a compass detecting intents. Yeah. So the heart will feel it out, and the heart will hold space for you to let go when you're ready or when it's time. And like when we have new moon energy updates like this, a lot of this kind of stuff is more about us aligning with our other, like with the people who resonate with us in the world, so that we can reflect back to one another that we are supported, that, like, you know, even the alignment of this new moon, where it's like the whole past 2-month cycle or 3-month cycle for me, 4 or 5 months even, it's been this continual like having to face conflict, face fear, face loss, face separation. All of my like biggest fears basically I had to face and then heal from the loss of letting go of those fears ultimately, and densities and separation. So healing the core wounds, you know, and coming into full manifestation power, not in any kind of perfection, just in vulnerability, in desiring to share the journey with more ease and more humility, because it's so tough, you know, emotionally speaking. we're reawakening the emotional body, and so we're coming out of the darkness and coming out of forgetfulness, and we're coming out of yet still a stigma and a social condition around our emotions being wrong and bad. Thank you. Facing fears is great progress, true path. Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to really hit home, to be honest, as well. Like now I'm like, yeah, fully on a path, fully on a journey. I've been pretty kind of like reclusive for the last 5 or 6 years, and in that reclusivity, as I kind of birth myself back into the world, everything is different. People respond and react differently. There's a lot more potency, and there's a lot more instantaneous transformation just by entering the energy field. So it's wild. It's like continues to be wild, which is why I think we have these technologies to share and almost like reflect back the experience to one another. Like, is this real? What's real? Is this happening? Because all of it's an illusion at the end of the day. We're just choosing a more light-filled illusion versus a dark and disconnected illusion. So now it's like feeling those final threads of deep, dark densities born of this illusion of separation and fear, and then healing that wound through the light of awareness to birth that same light and that same love into the world. It's a simultaneous process, and it's paradoxical, and it's all one. Earth to Maya, thank you so much. Hidden Observer, I think I saw Eric as well. You guys have an awesome day. I'm just loving you here from England, and literally just trying to have so much compassion for myself because last night was intense. And yet what I'm aware of is like it had to come to that. Thank you. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, like I knew the waves. It was like my old pattern. This is the idea of letting go. My old pattern was like almost like, yeah, self-punishment and self-abuse because of loss and because you can like feel stuff. So like I just kept hooking back into this very abusive energy. So I got some help to let it go yesterday, and I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful that I'm not abusing myself anymore. I'm not perfect. I still have vices, but like I'm getting there. I've come a long way, so hey guys, buy my book. Buy my book. Thanks. Have a great day, and I love you loads. Bye.